Good morning, guys. Happy May 1st. Um, I don't know why things showed up this way today, but I'm going to roll with it. Like, at this point in my life, I'm flowing like water. So, this is what it is. But, anyhow, today I'm going to kind of piggyback off of the affirmation I am unique I did about 2 weeks ago. It's kind of similar but not. So during the pandemic, I was not only fighting cancer, but I started a new job somewhere in between. And okay, let me just go back. So just follow along, y'all. I jump around a lot. Like I said, speaking, this is not my thing. I'm a writer, but this is how it showed up. So this is what I'm going to do. Basically, when I was in my cancer fight, during my cancer fight, I there's no way to really try to explain the fight to me, to a person that's not gone through it or who hasn't gone through it, or they're not living it or haven't lived it. Okay, follow along. And during those times, there's a lot of alone time. There's a lot of loneliness, a lot of internalness. So within that, you learn to maneuver pure chaos. You got to remember, there's a pandemic going on. The government, your doctors, everyone, everyone that's involved is telling you, the masses, they don't know what this is. They don't know if it's airborne. They don't know how you get it actually. They don't know if it's curable. They didn't know anything about it. But all they're telling you is you are at higher risk of dying. Well, wait a minute. I'm already fighting cancer. What do you mean? Do not go outside. Don't be around people. So this further isolates you. You're literally watching people being thrown in tractor, trailer trucks, whatever they're called, 18-wheelers, to keep them from decomposing. This is all happening while you're already fighting for your life. You don't know that struggle right there. Nobody can explain that for you. So you find a lot of internalness. You talk to God daily. You find a lot of quiet time. Not only within that pandemic, I ended up in a hospital unexpectedly with an infection of some sort when the doctors were telling me you are on course to be done with this at this time. So because I had this infection, I'm on chemotherapy and I now have to stay in the hospital. There is nowhere safe for me to stay in a hospital outside of a hospice unit. The mind, the things that does to the mind is unfair. But with that, you tap into something else. The only person that's there is God. And he literally is asking you, what you going to do? You going to continue to sit here and fight and struggle? And no, not at that point. And for me, anyway, at that point, I surrender all. I cannot do this by myself. Like, I'm literally going to lose my mind. Especially when your environment is not a place where you can be super vulnerable, where you can be broken. You can't. So I learned, it's a keep up. It's going to all make sense. So I learned to be very quiet in those spaces. Be very quiet and have conversations with God. That's a whole different kind of peace. It teaches you when to speak and when not to. That leads me to what I'm going to discuss today. I started this job in the middle of a pandemic. So when they said, we're going to go back on a hybrid schedule and see how that works. I'm like, okay, cool. Immediately, based upon our seat assignments or, where we were going to be within that department, I received some information about where I was going to be sitting. And I'm like, and I trust this person. Like, this is somebody that I trust, somebody that I've known for a little bit. But you really don't know. First of all, we're different people. You don't know the background. You don't know the context of the conversation. You just don't know. But this person was like, giving me a little bit of a warning, which I appreciate. But then when people you don't know start walking up to you saying, yeah, be careful. So at that point, it's like, okay, God, are you warning me about something? Like, what is going on? But I'm to the point where I hear you, but I'm not worried about it because I knew it was going to be one or two situations. I'm going to walk into this situation and I'm going to shed some light on some things. So that's typically what happens with me. I don't know why. I walk into these crazy ass chaotic situations and shed light and it just, it fixes itself. I don't know. So it was like one of those things, like this situation is either going to be fixed or it's not going to bother you. And that's where it was. I'm like, for me, I probably will thrive in this. I don't know. But I kind of shut it off and was like, I'm here to do what I do. And that's it. But in my head, too, I was also like, okay, God, we've been doing so good. Like, it's been almost, a year and a half, 2 years. Like, what is happening here? Like, I don't have time for nonsense. And Friday, my supervisor called me and said, I think we're going to move you by yourself. Like, you'll be sitting out by yourself. I said, well, look at God. Let me tell you something. And I know for me, right now, the divine want me to rest. That's all he want me to do. He don't want me to do lift. He don't want me to sweat. He don't want me to do nothing. He is literally keeping me. You hear me? Don't fight so hard. Cast your cares. Like all your fear, all your pain, or give it to God. You don't got to work so hard. Just sit back and let him do him. The weapon will form, but it will not be prosperous. Just know that. And it was like, okay, God. And I feel like it's because I did not complain. I was like, I'm not going to complain. This situation hasn't become a situation for me. It's a situation for everybody else. But I also put out, don't mess with me. Like, leave me alone. I'm not here for that. And I don't know what that was, but yeah, I literally am alone. And if anybody knows me, I'm pretty introverted. I know how to deal with people. I know how to talk to people. I know how to entertain. I know how to move around in a room. But ultimately, like, I'm kind of introverted. So I'm like, that's a win-win for me. Now I don't have to be around nobody. But no, I'm saying all of that to say, just know that the weapon, it could possibly be formed, but it will not be prosperous. Just know that. I don't know, in whatever situation. This is, to me was small because I know who I am. I know, what I'm there to do. And that's just to, I love, and don't get me wrong, I love what I do. I love my team. I love my supervisor. I have never been in a position where I'm valued, where my voice is valued, where they, any kind of ideas I have, they're willing and more than, they make room for me. They make room for me. What do you want? I have never been somewhere where they ask me, what do I want? But I know what that is. It's called favor, baby. Favor ain't always fair. But I went through some things to learn it's hard it didn't have to be so hard, but I went through some things to learn it. And I'm so grateful for it. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Happy May 1st if I didn't say it. Set your goals, be intentional, and crush them. I also want to say this is dedicated to my cousin. B, I love you. I miss you. Happy birthday. Continue to rest in peace. Mwah. All right, y'all. Happy Sunday. Y'all go do your thing, cook y'all dinner, whatever. Love y'all. Bye.